Peace. This is Firstborn, another Dark Christ memoir. First of all, I just got finished breaking down my last chunk of watermelon, and it was off the chain. Speaking with one of my boys, public service announcement. Don't let that stereotype about black people eating watermelon shut you down from eating watermelon, because apparently eating watermelon is a pure act of genius, because watermelon is one of the best foods for you. But anyways, I want to tell this story about 6 of us brothers who went out to Lexington to a slave plantation about a year ago, and what happened out there. And I'm telling the story to deal with how the ancestors still speak. Anyways, like I said, about a year ago, 6 of us brothers, me, one of my brothers is a warrior in the United States military of the highest order, been on many continents to serve this country in the most majorest of ways. Another brother is one of our boys here who's a teacher. Another is a 6'4" Jamaican craftsman, computer builder, and tinkerer. Another brother is an artist, artisan. Another was a mechanic. So it was the 6 of us all together, and we decided one Saturday to just get up and sit and go to this plantation that my brother who's in the military knew about in Lexington, that he had gone with some kids, and he's from Ghana. So picture that, 6 brothers traveling to Lexington, which has a stereotypical area in South Carolina for being racist, just to be real with you. Anyhow, we decided to go, and we went there, and there was this one woman there, and she was taking us on this tour, and she showed us the house, she showed us where they churned butter, she showed us the elaborate antiques, the way that the plantation owners lived, and the elaborate setup of the house. It was interesting, the old weapons and tools, the agricultural tools that they had, and everything was all good. But from the offset of getting there, we saw where the slaves stayed, and all of us were anticipating being able to go into the slave quarters. But anyways, towards the end, she took us back, and before we got to the slave quarters, all of us were asking, yo, are you going to allow us to go into the slave quarters? Well, she said no, they're closed, they're locked off. So part of us is like, well, darn, that was the whole point for us coming here, was to get to the slave quarters. But anyways, we're there, and the 6 of us begin to move towards the slave quarters, and she's walking with us, and my 6'4" Jamaican brother walks onto the steps of the slave quarters. And when he walked to the steps of the slave quarters, I began to feel something different was going on, and he put his hand on the slave quarters, and the next thing I know, tears began to drop out his eye. Now you got to understand, these are 6 grown-ass men, if you feel me, grown-ass men, and this brother's 6'4" Jamaican, and the tears start to drop down his eye. And what I realized internally, I'm asking the Creator, take this lady who was showing us around out of here, because something's going on. Because as that was happening, my other brother, who I call the professor, who's the teacher, had stayed back, and he just kept looking up at the sky, and there was just this one bird hovering around, just one bird, this crow. And so I'm with my brother, who's crying because he's feeling something from this house, and I can feel it too. My soldier brother is over there with him too. We're trying to just let him know we there. And I walk back to my other brother, and he's like, yo, it's this untold story here. It's an untold story. He keeps saying that. So my brother is crying still because he's just feeling everything behind the walls and in the wood. He's communicating with it. And all of a sudden, my other 2 brothers are walking around, all of a sudden we pull my Jamaican brother, me and the Ghanaian, the warrior. We come back to my brother who's sitting out in the grass just looking up at the sky, and there was only these two birds. You have to understand, the skies were absolutely clear. And when we come together, all of us begin to say there's a story that's trying to be told to us right now. There's a story that's attempting to unfold itself. And as we kept saying that, something began to happen that I've never seen in my life. All of these birds came out of nowhere. And these birds came over to us. And the birds began to hover in the air right above us. And all of a sudden, I began to tear up and cry, and I can't control it because all these images flashed to me about what went on in that house. And the six of us come together, and my brother from Ghana keeps saying, they're here, they're here. And as six people, we all understood as those flock of crows hovered right over that slave house that the spirits were speaking to us. And it was powerful because six grown men all felt and sensed the same thing. We felt the pain, we felt the hurt, we felt the hope for the future, and most of all, what we felt was the baton being passed to us. And I remember as the birds were circling, at one point I said, yo, it's over. We've heard everything we need to hear. And at that point, every last single bird left the air. As we walked off, there was nothing to say. We all felt it. We all understood it. We went in a circle before we got in the cars, in a moment of silence to just soak up the energy, just realizing that the veil between now and the past, the veil between life and death is very thin. And if there are people who are on the same page as one and receptive, then the universe is always waiting to bridge those gaps between the living and the dead, and between the past and the present, so that we can see that all these energies are coming together for us to build and move towards the future and becoming who we are. So I just wanted to tell that story because it was major powerful to me, man. And it is rare that you have six brothers, grown men, who get to come together and experience something so powerful. My words cannot convey what it is we all felt. I wish the six of us could be here and describe it. But I just wanted to share that the ancestors do still speak, but you have to have an ear to hear and a soul to feel and eyes to read what is happening. This is your boy, Firstborn, another Dark Christ memoir. I'ma holler at y'all. The power is here. We just have to open ourselves up to hear it. Peace.